for us. And if you want to catch the next podcast and others, you have to hit that subscribe button, man. Definitely.
All right, man. Before we get sentimental and do all that shit, we could do it at the back end. Let's get to some news, man. Where do you want to start first?
Let's start with the little let's start with the Tommy Davidson.
Bet. All right, so Tommy Davidson, in living color, legend, comedian, icon in the game. He's been doing a lot of various interviews. I'm not sure why. I don't know if he's publishing a book. I don't know if he has something going on, a comedy tour that he's promoting. Whatever the case, SMS Studios will let us have you in there on the podcast. You can come sit down on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast and talk to us. We'll be ready for you. But anyway, he was on the Breakfast Club, and he was talking to the brothers and Angela Yee about something involving NBC. I won't talk. I'll let him talk, and we'll talk about it. Let's go.
You know, and we broke the color barrier with In Living Color. But once the success of In Living Color came, like look at Fox Now. That'll show you right there. Now there was the Entertainment Weekly had the hottest shows of the 90s, and we weren't in there. Not one single picture. Not even my foot. Not even Jennifer Ass. You know, and you know that's gonna be in any frame. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. That's like the moon. It's gonna be somewhere. You know what I mean? So that was there because when I broke into the comedy scene, I broke into all the white clubs, turning it out, standing ovations, killing it. And what they would tell me is, "You're not the one we want. You're not what we're looking for." And I was like, "Well, what you looking for?" You know, even with Lorne Michaels, when I came to audition for SNL, mm-hmm. he was like, "I'm not looking for a black comedian. Eddie Murphy was a mistake." I'm like, "Well, yeah." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, and that was supposed to be my audition. And that was, he said, "And have a nice day." And I was like, "Whoa, hold on." Mm. First of all, Eddie Murphy a mistake? I don't know. First of all, I can't zip this off. Mm-hmm. So you got a black comedian. And second of all, if you think Eddie was a mistake, then what kind of show do you have? He like saves your show. Yes, he's the biggest star thing on SNL ever. Yeah. You know, so that kind of craziness, I was already kind of used to because of how I came up. I was used to it. Mm-hmm.
Man, oh God. Now, Eddie Murphy was just recently back on SNL. He was promoting Dolomite. He has Coming to America coming up. He has a stand-up special coming. Eddie Murphy's getting busy again. Had no idea about this though. Tommy Davidson being somebody credible, I don't see why he would sit up there and lie. I believe this wholeheartedly, but it's still kind of shocking to me. Oh God, what you think, man? Is it shocking? Am I?
It is, you know, just with the names involved, you would never think that Eddie Murphy would be his name would be tied up or something like that. But we can't. I hate to say this over and over, but for the new listeners, we can't act like this country don't have the history that it has.
Yeah.
And it took a long time up until just recently for us to get anywhere of a semblance of equality. And still certain things, you know, we got the Grammys and sports and everything is still lopsided and that equality, you know, and discrimination thing going on. But it's not surprising at all. We see many of our prominent, you know, whether you see actors, entertainers, rappers, or even earlier on talked about some of the, you know, the loopholes that they couldn't quite get through, but had to bust their way through because of their race or somebody didn't like them or they didn't want them in this position because of whatever reason. So yeah, this history, if you don't know it, you got to go back and study the history of segregation and, you know, racism and things that went on in this country to understand, okay, this is why things happen. Because, all right, who runs this? The All Boys Club, you know, runs this right here. The golfers, they're not letting people in. They just don't do that. It's just like certain things are sacred. People got certain fraternities and people move certain ways. So, you know, people who were once, you know, thought to be peasants, slaves and whatnot, coming in, you know, they want to keep them it's a reason why certain people, you know, had those thoughts, you know, and some people, you know, I don't think it ever, you know, was bred out of them. I think it continues on through the bloodline.
Sitting in a position that we're in right now and seeing a lot of the childhood idols that we've seen as kids, Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, Living Color, the Wayans, all the Wayans, and various people, Tommy Davidson, David Allen Greer, just to name a few, the crew from a living single. Just we remember all the Family Matters. List goes on. And to go here now to be able to sit behind this microphone with you and do all the amazing things that we're doing, realizing now that those people were pioneers, because we had no idea the amount of just bias and door shutting and gatekeeping that they were going through behind the scenes. It was a struggle for them probably to get into the game and to get to where they were at. There wasn't a YouTube or a platform to where they could just freely be able to show their talent or their art for millions to be able to see. And for them to go through what they went through, and for obviously what you're saying, the boys club and the closed door sessions and things that they're not allowing certain people just to get into, no matter how talented, no matter how great, no matter how much of the demand, certain people just ain't getting into certain things just because the rich white man don't want it to go down. So it's not surprising. It's not surprising that he would have the arrogance to say Eddie Murphy was a mistake, even though he was the highest grossing comedian ever on SNL, because he was black and he just doesn't like him. It's not surprising. It's a little bit of a blow, but it's not surprising. Yeah.
And I'm glad that he's putting out this memoir and pretty much, exposing and going into this, because these things are important. You don't want to paint an illusion, for the next generation, to let them know like nothing. There wasn't no struggles. They didn't have to, deal with discrimination and all these different things. Let us know, you know what I mean? So we can know, what you overcame. And obviously, Tommy Davidson, he's made it through. He's now a testimony for other people to say, okay, yeah, I had to go through this. They didn't want me here and they closed doors, but shit, I had to kick some down my damn self. And now I'm at where I'm at because I persevered through all of that. And it could be hope, motivation for people. So I'm glad that Tommy, I didn't really, obviously known him back then, for being a comedian, but it's good to hear an update from him.
Yeah, man. Remember Booty Call? Him and Jamie Foxx?
Yeah.
What was Vivica? And I forgot the other sister, but I remember that movie.
Right.
Had some great times with that movie. Anyway, man.
That was like one of the first movies that kind of,
the inaugurals. You know what I'm saying?
That them late night HBO joints.
Cinemax Bowl.
Yeah, Cinemax.
We had to flick back and forth and listen to the parents, see if they was coming through. Oh, Kids will never know, man.
Yeah, man, definitely. They got it right. They figurative now, sadly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. If you had somebody with the passcode bowl, you was a legend. Oh, you got the passcode to the Jones? Oh, yeah, let me get that.
We had it memorized, some of them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
It is what it is, man.
Good times.
Yes, sir. But shout out to Tommy Davidson and always the Breakfast Club, putting out some real dope interviews, keeping the culture, going. I want to turn our attention to Khalees.
Khalees. Right.
Okay, Khalees.
Yep.
Nas's ex-wife. Now she sat down. She did an interview, and she's pretty much, first and foremost, she's talking about, the Neptunes in our first two projects, and I'll read that. Then I'll get into what she said about Nas. She put, I was told we're going to split the thing 33, which we didn't do. She said, instead, I was blatantly lied to and tricked, pointing to the Neptunes and their management and their lawyers and all that stuff. As a result, she says she made nothing from the sales of her first two albums. Now, that's one thing saying, man. She also goes on to say pretty much that she and Nas, and she said this before, obviously, had an abusive relationship. She said the signs were there, but, at times Nas will physically put his hands on her. Nas did deny that. But right now, this is something else that's, pretty much being reiterated right now. And she wants to air it all out, saying she wants to breathe. She wants to, put it all out on the table. The newer thing is the Neptunes, but we already kind of knew about the abuse allegations. But what do you think about this now? Khalees coming back out and reiterating this again.
When it pertains to the Neptunes, I 100% believe her. Now, when it pertains to Nas, I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying that's a marriage situation, a spousal situation. You got kids involved in that situation. You got one party who said that it's happened. You got one party saying it's denied. No criminal charges, nothing going further. So I'm going to leave that alone and respect that whole situation. When it comes to the publishing thing, I 100% believe it.
Right.
It's happened now with my man Pharrell. Great guy, beloved throughout the industry, but it's not too far under the realm of speculation that he was a piece of shit and taking people's money. It happened in the music game. Happened to a lot of our legends. We're going to talk about one of our favorites, back in the 90s and 2000s that went through it too. It goes down. It's the music industry. It's an evil game. And this is why.